strength of flesh and bone, but in the costly wounds of love at the cross. My worth is not in skill or name, in win or lose, in pride or shame, but in the blood of Christ that flows at the cross. I rejoice in my Redeemer, greatest treasure, wellspring of my soul. I will trust in him, no other. My soul is satisfied in him alone. As summer flowers we fade and die, fame, youth, and beauty hurry by, but life eternal calls to us at the cross. I will not boast in wealth or might, or human wisdom's fleeting light, but I will boast in knowing Christ at the cross. I rejoice in my Redeemer, greatest treasure, wellspring of my soul. I will trust in him, no other. My soul is satisfied in him alone. Two wonders here that I confess, my worth and my unworthiness, my value fixed, my ransom paid at the cross. I rejoice in my Redeemer, greatest treasure, wellspring of my soul. I will trust in him, no other. My soul is satisfied in him alone. I rejoice in my Redeemer, greatest treasure, wellspring of my soul. I will trust in him, no other. My soul is satisfied in him alone.
Happy New Year's 2021 and welcome to worship. It's certainly not the way we had hoped or planned to begin the new year. We had hoped to continue worship inside the sanctuary. But for the month of January, we're going to be doing virtual worship. And so we are glad that you have found us and that you're with us on this Sunday. And pray that this will be a meaningful service, one that will be encouraging and uplifting for you and your family. I hope that you'll take a moment and even share this if you're on Facebook. I know that Facebook and YouTube are ways in which people are joining us. But we're so glad that you could be a part of this. Today, again, I welcome you in the name of Christ. And I believe this service will be something that will be meaningful for all of us. So in the way of announcements in the life of the church, I would just direct you to the website. We'll certainly be putting things out on social media as well. We'll be beginning in January. There'll be a new Bible study, Wisdom for Life. It'll be from the book of James. It'll be a Bible study midweek, an interactive opportunity through Zoom and Facebook and YouTube to join, be a part of that study. I'll be putting information out about that soon. We have life groups that continue to meet. Ministry is still happening. Mission work is being done. Even this week, I think about this week, we've been serving those who need help with food. We're providing ministry. There's been a funeral here earlier today. Ministry goes on, and the church is continuing to make a difference, to impact the community. That's what we're here to do in the name of Christ, and we will continue to do that. And so on this day, I welcome you, and I hope that you will not only enjoy this service as you see it, but that you will be inspired and that your life somehow will be changed. Blessings, friends, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us right here at Locust Grove Church. I'm so glad you can be a part of our virtual worship. If you're with us online, if you're with us later, catching our recording on YouTube, or if you're following us just simply through the website, I'm so glad that you're with us. You know, hey, 2020 is behind us. Rear view mirror. 2021, here we come. All right, my name is Leisha Everett, and I'm the family minister here, and I'm glad that you have decided to join us. So, you know, what am I going to tell my family this year? January 3rd, 2021. Am I going to look back from where we've come? No. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look around. I'm going to see who's with me. And then I'm going to look forward toward God. I'm going to follow his lead. And I'm going to tell my family, jump on board. Yeah, it may be a bumpy ride. I don't know. It may be some dips. It may be some turns. I mean, hey, yeah, have I got plans? Yeah, I do. I've got plans. But you know what? God sometimes shows us the way by ordering our steps. Yeah, we have plans. I mean, you know, there are a lot of things that we're going to do. We're going to scout out where we want to be. We're going to make resolutions. We're going to go toward them. But you know what? God's going to determine our steps as long as we are submissive to what his lead is, to what his call is. And I am confident in him and his delivery of where we're going to be, where we're going to end up. So you know what? I don't want you to be left behind. I'm not going to be left behind. And thank God we have a leader that's going to lead us there. Yeah, some of us are going to get afraid. Some of us are going to be fearful. But you know what? He says, have faith. Walk by faith. Follow me. I've never let them down before. Hey, read my Bible. Read my book. I've never let anyone down. Yeah, things have looked bleak at times. Yeah, people have gone astray. But you know what? When they set their eyes on faith and they're not afraid, God has done wonderful, wonderful, remarkable things. I mean, you know, even in my own personal life, he has done things that, yeah, he worked through the crazy fool that I am. Yes, he did. And thank God for that. So you know what? He's not going to let us down now. At all. Not at all. We're going to have faith and walk by faith. And say, fear? Nowhere near. I'm walking by faith. With that being said, I'd like to read you the scripture reference today. It comes out of the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verses 25 through 33. At the end of 40 days, they returned from spying out the land, and they came to Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation of the Israelites in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. They brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, we came to the land which you sent us. It flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit. Yet the people who live in the land are strong, and the towns are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. And the Amalekites live in the land of the Negeb, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites live in the hill country. And the Canaanites, they live by the sea and along the Jordan. But Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it. Then the men who had gone up with him said, we're not able to go up against this people, for they're stronger than we. So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, the land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. There we saw the Nephilim, the Anakites, come from Nephilim. And to ourselves, we seemed like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them.
You are my joy. You are my song. You are the well, the one I'm drawing from. You are my refuge, my whole life long. Surely my God is the strength of my soul. Your love defends me. Your love defends me. And when I feel like all alone, your love defends me. Your love defends me. Day after day, night after night, I will remember you're with me in this fight. Although the battle it rages on, the war is already won. I know the war is already won. Surely my God is the strength of my soul. Your love defends me. Your love defends me. And when I feel like I'm all alone, your love defends me. Your love defends me. We sing hallelujah. You're my portion, my salvation. Hallelujah. Surely my God is the strength of my soul. Your love defends me. Your love defends me. And when I feel like I'm all alone, your love defends me. Your love defends me. Surely my God is the strength of my soul. Your love defends me. Your love defends me. And when I feel like I'm all alone, your love defends me. Your love defends me. We sing hallelujah. You're my portion, my salvation. Hallelujah. You're my portion, my salvation. Hallelujah. You're my portion, my salvation.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us in worship on this day. And here I am today on the banks of the Flint River again. I guess you could call this series the sermon series on the river, or the river series. I've been here just about every season this year. I was here in the spring. I was here again in the summer offering sermons and devotions. I came back in the fall for a bit. And now here I am in the winter, near the beginning of a new year on the Flint River, to try and offer a word that would be helpful. You know by now that we have, as a church, we've decided that we will go virtual for the month of January with our worship. We have a great team of people who are working hard at making these services a meaningful experience. And you have helped simply by joining. I hope that you'll join a conversation with the thread that will be there if you're on Facebook. And the other side of that is you can share these services in a way that will help us expand our ministry. We're here to try to encourage people, to inspire, to lift up, especially in a season like this. This is an interesting time, isn't it? And so here we are at the beginning of 2021. And we're grateful that we've made it this far, and yet there's still a lot of questions. And so this series that I'm offering for the month of January, I've entitled, What's Next? If you see it on the website or on Facebook or YouTube, you'll see that I've actually got the S in a parenthesis so that you could read it, What Next? What's next? Or what next? What's next, we're still uncertain about. There are a lot of uncertainties out there, right? I mean, we all know that. The question, what next, is sort of almost out of frustration, right? Like, oh, come on. You turn on the television when you get up in the morning, perhaps, and you listen to the news and the latest breaking story, and suddenly the sand beneath your feet have shifted a bit. Things are different. And so we face challenges, don't we? It's not just the challenges of the unknown, but we all face challenges that at times can really, quite honestly, be frustrating to us. So those two questions combined make up this sermon series. What's next? What next? Now, the thing is, as we begin this series, I'll tell you, I think all of us face a choice, that we're all at a crossroads, every one of us. Not just because we're at the beginning of a new year, but we all do face a choice at a crossroads. And you may be wondering, well, what choice are you referring to? There are many choices to be made. Yes, there are. But there's this really crucial choice that all of us are faced with that I want to talk with you about just for a moment this morning. It's the choice to look forward in faith and move in that direction, or the choice to look back and allow fear and complacency to not only cause you to glance backwards, but to want to go back to what was prior to the pandemic, what's familiar with our life. And we all have to decide at this crossroad the posture that we'll take, the direction we'll look, the way in which we will try to go with our lives. And I believe that to be a crucial choice for every one of us. So today, I wanted to talk with you about that choice. Google Trends, actually, with Google they keep up with this different questions that we ask, things that we've searched for. And on Google Trends, it says that across this past year in 2020, that we looked for a better future more than we wish to return to the past. And to indicate how that works, they said that the question, how to change the world, was searched twice as much as how to go back to normal. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. I want it to settle in with you for a moment. How to change the world was searched twice more than how to go back to normal. Now, I get it. I mean, on the surface, you go, well, look, if you have to search how to go back to normal. But the reality is, there is, I think, at this moment, at this crossroads, there is this hungering, this desiring, that maybe we can take what we've been through, maybe we can take what we're learning, and we can somehow forge that in faith and make this a better world, that we can change the world for the better. Now, maybe that sounds a bit idealistic to you, but I'm here to tell you, I believe by faith that's a possibility. Has that not always been the story? Has that not always been part of the narrative? That by faith we can move forward into a better day? Is that not where hope drives us? Isn't that what faith calls for? To step out into the unknown. We walk by faith and not by sight. We don't see, at least not clearly, but faith calls us forward. I'm thinking of Abram, who became Abraham, and God said, Abram, I want you to go. And Abram got up and went. He didn't know where that journey would take him. He had no idea where he was really going. But convictionally, by faith, he knew that he couldn't stay. And the truth of the matter is, with all of us, you can't stay. You can't just go back. I mean, I suppose really you probably could. You could if you decide in your own heart that you're just going to go back once things kind of open up, and once we get back to whatever a sense of normalcy is, then perhaps you're thinking, well, I'm just going to go back to the way it was because I'm familiar with that and I felt safe there and I can just settle in and be comfortable there. I'm just going to go back to that, to whatever that normal was. But I'm here to tell you that if you do that, you're going to miss out on the adventure. You're going to miss out on the journey. And so I want to talk with you about the choice because I think it really kind of boils down to the choice between faith and fear. Faith will lead us onward. Faith means stepping out with courage, going in a direction where you're not exactly sure where that will lead you. Fear, on the other hand, will always point you backwards to what you knew, to where you were, to what you're familiar with. I'm here to tell you, in my life, I don't know about yours, but in my life, when I've allowed fear to drive my decisions, I've missed out on what faith was calling me to. I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't want you to do that with your life either. I believe God calls us onward. That God calls us by faith to move forward. And so at this crossroads, at this particular time in history, it has been challenging, yes, and it still is. There are obstacles and there are challenges and there are difficulties to be endured. This is tough. It's tough for all of us. But there are also moments and opportunity in this for us to learn and to grow and to become and to take all of this and somehow forge this by faith into a determination that we're going to learn and we're going to grow and we're going to find a way together to make this a better world. As Christians, we do that in the name of Christ. So I wanted to point you to a story that you've already heard a part of a reading from. And the story is so familiar. It's about when Moses gathered the tribes together. They had already come out of Egypt. They had already seen God's mighty hand part the river, and they were free. They had gone through the Exodus, and they were liberated. And then they had gone through the wilderness, and now they were at a crossroad. Moses told them to choose men from each tribe, and he wanted to send spies into the land so that they could determine what that land looked like and who lived there and how difficult would it be to occupy the land, to go into the land, because that was the land, that was the promised land of Israel. And so there they were at that crossroad. And the spies do exactly what Moses asked them to do in Numbers 13. The spies do exactly what Moses asked. They go into the land, they scout the land, they look at it, they see who lives there, and they come back with a report. And I have, and I know you're familiar with the story. I have in this passage, though, I wanted to share with you the report that came back. And they came back, and they told Moses, "We came to the land to which you sent us, and indeed it does flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. And yet the people who live in the land are strong, and the towns are fortified and very large. And besides this, we saw the descendants of Anak there, and Amalekites live in the land of the Negeb, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live by the sea along the Jordan." But Caleb quieted the people before Moses. Caleb was one of the spies, and he said, "Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it." And then the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we." So they brought to the Israelites an unfavorable report of the land that they had spied out, saying, "The land that we have gone through as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great size. And to ourselves we seem like grasshoppers, and so we seem like to them." There they were at a crossroad. A decision had to be made. Don't you love what Caleb said? "Let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it." It's not that there aren't challenges. It's not that there aren't going to be obstacles and opposition as you move forward in faith. There will always be those things to contend with, to deal with your own life. It's always there. But you're able, by God's good help and presence, you're able to overcome it. You're able to go. But the other group, the larger group of the spies who gave the other report said, we're not able to do it. The land, it devours its inhabitants. And the people who occupy this land, my goodness, they're like giants and we're like grasshoppers. Sounds like fear to me. And there it is. The difference, the choice between faith and fear. And no one can make that choice for you but you. No one can make it for me except for me. I have to decide at the crossroad, do I move forward in faith? Do I accept the challenges and the obstacles and sometimes the opposition that comes with moving into the unknown, moving forward? Do I accept that and recognize that with God's help, I'm well able to overcome it? Or do I allow fear to cause me to want to retreat, to stay where I am, to not move forward, just to stay with what I know, what I'm familiar with? That's your choice as well. Oh, one other thing I should share with you, though. They didn't go into the promised land at that point. They chose to stay in the wilderness. And guess what? An entire generation missed their opportunity to move into the promise that God had provided for them in that land. An entire generation. I don't know about you, and I certainly don't know about the future. But I will tell you this. To the best of my ability, I intend to live by faith in 2021. I intend to make this choice every day of my life. And I'm asking you to join me, to come with me. Let's decide at the crossroads that we're going to be a people of faith, that we're going to live by faith, that we're going to acknowledge fear, but we're never going to let fear drive us. We're never going to let our decisions be based on fear. Faith or fear? What's next? I don't know. What next? I don't know. But I do know this. The moment requires a choice. And the choice is ours. Faith or fear. The challenges are real. But by God's good help, we are well able to overcome those challenges. God help us to live into it.
What gift of grace is Jesus my Redeemer? There is no more for heaven now to give. He is my joy, my righteousness and freedom, my steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus, for my life is only bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine, I can sing all is mine, yet not I, but through Christ in me. The night is dark, but I am not forsaken, for by my side the Savior, He will stay. I labor on in weakness and rejoicing, for in my need His power is displayed. To this I hold, my dread.